Welcome to the Instigators Hockey Show. That's Chris Kotsopoulos. I'm Paulie D. Welcome to the insanity we like to call the Instigators Hockey Show.
Got the shirt on.
Got the red light on. Got the red light on.
It must be Barry Shelley in the back there playing that with the red light continuously going on. Letting in all them goals.
Oh, buddy. Well, listen, if you don't know who we are, that sucks for you. But more importantly, there's a lot to talk about. So many things. Where can I start? I could start anywhere. We're going to talk New York Rangers. We got to talk about the amazingness of Connor McDavid. We'll talk about that crazy accident with Vander Kane and Pat Maroon last night in the Tampa Bay Lightning. And there's a story I really want to talk about this young man. So, and of course, we'll cover the Rangers' collapse over the last several games. Let's start with first and foremost. I know Kotzi wants to have some condolences for Peter McCabe.
Peter McNabb.
And Hockey Fights Cancer is a big thing this month. This is the month. So, just cancer sucks. And, we're all affected by it in some way or shape or form. And this is the month. So do what you can for your donations and, try to support the league as much as you can.
Sorry about the phone call there, Paulie, but
no worries.
Peter McNabb. For some of you, some of you might not know that I grew up a Boston Bruin fan. Growing up in Toronto, I wasn't a Toronto Maple Leaf fan. I wasn't a fan of any other team. I was a Boston Bruin fan. So when he joined the Bruins back in the 70s, he was a good, solid centerman for him. I think he had 246 points in his first 3 years under Don Cherry as head coach there. And, somehow, some way, I managed to make my way to the NHL and end up playing against him a little bit. And pretty good player, obviously, had a decent career, and I think he even had a better career as a color man for the Colorado franchise all these years. And it was kind of sudden. The way he passed away, and there was really no word about it, but he passed away at the age of 70, which I think is a lot, early for most people. And I feel bad for his family. I feel bad for, hockey fans around the world that knew him. It's a sad day. A guy from my era, a guy that I played against, a guy that I followed at one time, when they pass away like that, Paul. And like you said, the Beware Cancer Month, and it should be Beware Cancer all year, personally. But it's just a sad time for the NHL and Peter McNabb's family and friends.
Yeah. Yeah. Thoughts and prayers with the family. And again, Hockey Fights Cancer. We all fight cancer. So do what you can. We're all touched, unfortunately, in a negative way with the C word. So, moving on. This really caught my attention, Kotz, and it's funny because obviously we've been friends for a long time, and we've been doing radio broadcasts, and now the web has got us on podcasts now. But I've always done some stories and kind of covered some things, and this story really bothered me about this young man who his first name escapes me, but it's Mitchell Miller, and the Boston Bruins had acquired his rights and then have canceled the plans to add him to the organization. So there's a couple of different things I want to cover here. The kid committed a crime. It was bullying of a black classmate with developmental disabilities. So he was bullying a disabled black young man. And some bad things that kids do. keep in mind he's 14 years old when he's doing this stuff. Okay, I think that's very important to understand. I mean, I think we've all done some pretty crappy things when we were kids. We started trouble. I know Chris has done some real stuff.
I'm guilty.
Okay. Now, I am not. Please understand, nor Kotze or I, the Instigators Hockey Show, we're not condoning what the kid did. But if you go on, and I'm going to post this article on the page, if you go on and read, the kid committed this crime at 14. He paid restitution, apologized in a letter, had to do community service. This kid paid the price for what he did, okay? He's now, I believe, 19 years old.
I think he's 20. He turned 20.
He's actually a very good talent.
He had a great year last year in the USHL, Paulie. He won all kinds of awards, led the league in scoring as a defenseman. Yeah. Go ahead.
And now this is the second team because the Boston Bruins acquired his rights from, I think it's the Phoenix Coyotes.
Yeah. Yes, Phoenix drafted him in the 4th round back in 2018, I think, or something like that.
They dropped him. Now Boston's dropped him. Again, the kid was 14 years old. At what point does he ever get a second chance? I mean, we're talking about the NHL. We're talking about he's a good hockey player. And we're talking about he's now an adult. He's paid the prices for what he has done in the past. This story really kind of grabbed me and it broke my heart. I mean, I think I'm hoping that there will be a team out there that just braves it, grabs them, and puts him on the ice. I don't think that he's a lost cause. And at what point are we when we're talking about kids growing up, at what point we don't give this kid a second chance? I don't get it, Chris. I know we were on the same page when we spoke today. You said, "What do you got?" I said, "I want to cover this article. It's funny." You got your notes. So
yeah. It's a tough topic to talk about in today's day and age, Paul. With the woke movement and everything that's been going on the last probably, I want to say 8-10 years, technically here in the United States, especially. I'm half in and half out on this one. I understand what happened was not nice, and I don't think any kid growing up in school would want to be bullied and want to be ridiculed. And apparently, Isaiah Meyer Crothers is the kid that was bullied, and he is an African American, and he was also considered a special needs student. Okay, and apparently Mitchell Miller, and it's been confirmed that he abused him and mocked him and made fun of him throughout school and stuff like that. And it wasn't just him. Apparently, there was friends involved too. It's like I said, it's hard not to feel bad for Isaiah Meyer Crothers, but is there any chance for Mitchell Miller to get what we call forgiveness eventually? Is it just a one-way street these days? Is that the way it works, or you know what I mean? What is the checklist for Mitchell Miller that he needs to do to make everybody maybe not happy about it, but be okay with it? Gary Bettman, I saw him immediately. He's not going to play in the National Hockey League. To just come out blatantly say stuff like that, you're depriving not just a kid, but you're depriving a person of a job opportunity by blanketing him, for the rest of his life. It's like he's going to wear a red scarlet, a scarlet letter thing, Paulie, for the rest of his life. Again, I feel for Isaiah Meyer Crothers. I mean, he was taken advantage of. Let's call it what it was, because he was a special needs student.
Right.
Mitchell Miller did what he did. What is going to be enough for this to be okay for him to resume his career as a hockey player? I don't know. What are the checklists that he has to do? I mean, I read the story about his agent, Eustace King, saying that every team in the league on draft day knew the story about it.
Right.
It was nothing new that, apparently things are getting, steamrolling even further now, but other things that happen after the age of 14. Who's confirming those? I don't know. But they all knew is what his agent said. And the Boston Bruins apparently knew too. And then the Boston Bruins come out and say, well, we didn't know all this after 2 days after signing. I think Boston in the end basically shit themselves thinking, wow, we didn't expect this kind of backlash.
Yeah.
So they had to do something fast to get, to make the fans think that, everything's okay. And plus their teammates on the Bruins were not happy about it either. It's such a convoluted situation, but in the end, the only thing I'm going to say is, when is forgiveness good enough? What is it going to take for forgiveness for this kid to resume his goal of playing in the National Hockey League? Is he ever going to get that chance? I don't know. I really don't know, Paulie. I think it's a tough situation, both sides, but the way it is these days, Paulie. Let's call it what it is. I'm not BSing anybody here. This woke movement, it's a tough thing for Mitchell Miller right now.
Well, the woke movement's convenient for the nonsense of the woke, and honestly,
but this is what's bringing this to a crescendo, though, Paulie.
My biggest problem with this, Kotz, is, and you know what? You make a great point. At what point are we at the point? And it's real simple for me. In the last 3 to 5 years, 3 years, let's say, what kind of trouble has this kid gotten into? Is he a repeat offender? Was it 10 days ago this guy got in trouble? Was it 10 months ago he got in trouble? Was it 2 years ago he got in trouble? I can see if he's a repeat offender and he continually gets himself in trouble. This is a story that happened when he was a fucking kid. He was
I get you.
So now he's approaching manhood and he's still being crucified for it. Again, if it was 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, okay, now you got to say, we got a problem here. But and I agree with you, there has to be a point in which we say, this is why, and somebody needs to give the reason. If it's for this specific fucking incident at this time, I feel it's ridiculous. And I believe this kid should get himself a lawyer. And because I believe at that age of 14, there's some kind of, when kids commit crimes at young ages, those fucking records get expunged. Why isn't his record expunged? I think he has a court case here. He's being singled out. Now, again, like I said, and I don't know because I just read an article. So I don't know all the stuff. But what I'm saying is he's a repeat offender, then we have a problem. Then I can understand, hey, listen, we don't want this in the league. And I'm the guy to raise my hand and say I agree. But if this incident happened when he was 14, 15 years old, he's now 20, you're telling me. If he hasn't had an incident in the last 3 to 4 years, I mean, this should be water under the bridge. I think this should be
I totally agree with you. I think it's, I think it's time everybody involved, regardless of the Bruins, releasing him from his contract, Phoenix, Gary Bettman with his tough stance, and Isaiah Meyer Crothers and his mother with their tough stance, and all the people that are against him. I think it's time for them to finally, okay, what's it going to take? What is it that you need from this guy? What do you need from Mitchell to make it okay for him to continue his career? I mean, I just
his life.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, otherwise he's gonna have a scarlet letter wherever he goes, even if he doesn't play hockey the rest of his life.
Exactly.
So if this is the way it's going to be, okay, Paulie, and you and I, we think alike. If this is the way it's going to be, then why isn't half the NFL and half the NBA out of business?
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is.
Exactly.
This has got nothing to do with race. This has got everything to do with your character. The NFL continues over the last 30 years to put people that have killed people with vehicles and drunkenness and other things. Same thing with the NBA.
Beating their wives or their girlfriends in elevators.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, so, again, it's tough. It's tough for both sides. I think it's tough for Isaiah Meyer Crothers too, Paul, because he's grown up. He has a kid now and everything else, and he's also said a few things up to date about it that it continued a little bit throughout school. So, but I still say I'm going to leave it at this. Here's the way I want it, and maybe I'm selfish, maybe I'm not. When does Mitchell Miller, like you say, get forgiveness? What is it he has to do? Does he have to check in with everybody every hour? I mean, is it that ridiculous now for a man to move on with his life? I don't know. That's it. That's all I got on this. But we're going to keep an eye on it. We are going to keep an eye on this and how it works out.
I got to check myself right now, but I just want to say this to my buddy Carl. Kotze and I said the same thing. We said the same thing, Carl. Same thing. If this was, I wonder if this was flipped, how it would go. But we're gonna move on. We are going to move on because there's nothing left to say. This is a kid being crucified time after time, and like you said, I got to check in every hour. What do I have to prove?
What are the prerequisites for him to get the final forgiveness and he can continue with his life? You know what I mean? Exactly. That's basically what.
And I don't necessarily have to be political.
Hey, Barry, you're getting a sun. Barry, you just showed up now. You're getting a sunburn from that red light there.
Barry, where you been, Barry? I'm disappointed. No, congratulations.
Richard Mason says Paul Bissonnette wants to fight Revo when he retires.
I was going to talk about it.
Okay, all right. Let's jump right into it then.
So, actually, my buddy Carl, who just texted me, sent me, I think it was maybe yesterday or the day before, he sends me a text. He's like, hey, check this out. Bissonnette, Biz Shitty, had Revo on his show briefly. Revo was actually in his car. He had to call in, and he says, I hear you talking shit about me, and I want to set the record straight. Revo gave it to him pretty good. Told him he'd fight him any place, anywhere, anytime. Biz Shitty, and I don't want to give the guy any credit, and I don't like using his name at all, his government name, so I won't. I call him Biz Shitty, and that's what he'll always be. Talking shit about he caught a rut in one of the fights. And Revo was like, whenever you're ready, any place, anytime. So, Biz Shitty started talking shit about the Rangers and the Ranger fans and things like that. And all I have to say is that I think Ryan Reeves is a funny guy, and he's got a lot of personality to him. But I honestly think that I got a feeling this is going to go south because Biz Shitty can't keep his mouth shut, and I think Ryan Reeves is ready to put his fist in it.
You know what?
I'll send you the link.
You send me the link, and I'm gonna just stop it right here. I really don't want to talk about this. You call him anymore, anyways.
There's nothing to talk about.
He's got plenty of airtime, plenty of this on TNT, and all these other things. Let him do his thing, and we're gonna move on.
We're gonna move on.
And while you're bringing up the next subject, I'm gonna reload.
Oh, you need a cold beer?
Yes, I do.
I don't know if anybody's seen the game last night between the Edmonton Oilers and the Tampa Bay Lightning, but Evander Kane's going to be out almost 4 months. They're talking about 4 months.
Yeah, I saw. I didn't know how long he's going to be out for, but I did see that before we got on the air tonight, Paulie. 4 months, up to 4 months. That's a
4
long
months.
time.
So Pat Maroon skate caught him right past the glove because they were Cots, when you played, you didn't wear a short glove, right?
No. The
I
gloves
didn't
they
think
wear.
they had short gloves when you played.
The gloves they wear today are about
They
as
come
short
up to here now, you know.
Yeah, they're like gardening
Yeah.
gloves now. That's
Yeah,
how short they
you
are.
know.
Not that I know anything about gardening, just letting you know. Okay.
That's the truth.
But I do see my wife out there with the gloves on sometimes. On her, they'd probably go right up to the elbow. But you know,
Your wife's a saint.
yes, she's the best.
She is. But the crazy thing is, yes, the gloves only come up to like the bare part of your wrist, and I guess Maroon caught him, and he's looking at 4 months being out. I mean, that's a dangerous thing. I remember, was it Richard Zednick?
With the throat, yeah, he got
For the
cut in the
Florida
throat.
Panthers.
Florida Panthers.
A skate came up and caught him on the jugular.
I've been present for a few things like this, but never. I mean, when I was a kid, you can look it up. Kim Crouch was a goaltender in junior. I think I talked about that years ago on our radio show.
Yeah,
he's the one that came up with the Crouch collar because he got slashed in the throat and cut his aorta and everything. You know what I mean? And he almost died on the ice, but and I was there, and trust me, it was gruesome. I also saw Ricky Mahar. For those people that don't remember, he played we played an exhibition game in Binghamton, Barry, where he got cut on his wrist, and it was disgusting. I didn't play that day because it was an exhibition game, so I was in the trainer's room watching them get sewed up, and they had to strap him down. That's how bad the cut was, and how in shock he was. He was like the blood was just shooting out 2-3 feet in the air. That's how bad the cut was on his wrist. And I'm pretty sure that's similar to what happened to Evander Kane. Okay. It happened so fast, Paul. I kind of watched a little bit of that game after the Rangers game. And when I saw the highlight, and it happened fast. I wasn't quite sure what happened, but you could tell to me that he knew he was in deep shit. So he ran off that ice, and you can see the little blood trail, going to the bench. I mean, I know it sounds, like I'm giggling at it.
It was a lot of blood. Yeah, it was a lot of blood fairly quickly. So, just a freak accident in the game. And, the crazy thing is with everything that surrounded Evander Kane for how long, right? He's still in the NHL. Actually, a valuable part of that of the Edmonton Oilers right now.
Well, I was one of the toughest critics of him with all the bullshit that he caused in his career. But he's kept his nose clean ever since he got that Edmonton, and he was an integral part of that team. We all know it's Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, but Evander King's right there, right behind him as one of the key players on that team. So that's
the guy can play. He's got a little bit of an edge. He's got hands. The guy can play hockey. Bottom line. But so 3 to 4 months out with that injury, freak accident. Everyone's wishing him well. Like I said, it looks like he's really settled down and settled in with the Oilers. And like we both said, he's a heck of a player. So wishing him the best luck. Speaking of the Oilers, let's move on to the next subject. Probably, Cots, we talked about this. To me, I know you're going to have your devil's advocate play, right? And that's what we do here. But for me, Connor McDavid is probably one of the greatest hockey players that the game has seen when it comes to pure talent and the ability to do things to the likes of Wayne Gretzky. For me personally, I think he's that dynamic. He shows he's just such a dynamic player. And I know there's guys like Austin Matthews and McKinnon that are great hockey players, but this kid is really just catapulted to a place where he's astounding. It's astounding to watch the man play, handle the puck, the passing, the skating, the ability to do that he does. To me, he's probably the greatest player in the last 5 years to step on the ice.
Well, he's definitely the best player in the world right now, as far as I'm concerned. I am critical of him and Leon Draisaitl because of their lack of Stanley Cups over the last 6-7 years that they've been leading the league in scoring. But as an individual, there's nobody even close to Connor McDavid right now. Paulie, his skating is just like a 10 plus. He's so fast. His shooting ability is great. His puck handling is like it's like the puck is stuck to a stick. You can't get it off. And his maneuverability, like going through whatever, the harassment of the NHL today. I know it's not as vicious and not as tough and not as hard as it was like 30, 40 years ago, but being what it is, there's nobody able to do what he does with that puck at that, we're talking supersonic speed, and still handle the puck. Where there's a ton of guys in the league now that can skate fast like him. But at the end of their rush, do they have the puck still on their stick? There's not many. Yeah, there's not many in the league right now that can come close to him. I put McKinnon in there in that category, but way below. And I put everybody else, like the other names that you mentioned. I mean, they're all right there, but there's Connor McDavid and everybody else is down here when it comes to that. There's a few guys, like I said, that can carry the puck and go through, the gauntlet. But nobody does it better than Connor McDavid right now. He's got 29 points in 14 games. I mean, is he going to slow down? I'm going to make a prediction right now. He's not going to slow down. I think he's going to end up with 130 to 150 points this year. You watch. It's still a long way from the 215 of Wayne Gretzky's best year. And the four times that Gretzky got over 200. I know, I was there. He probably got half of them against me.
So I mean, I don't know.
But in the end, the last thing I'm going to be my critic again. I'm going to be the pain in the ass I usually am. Got to win one, big boy. You got to win a Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
How many years did you wait for your boy Alex Ovechkin?
Oh boy!
It seemed like 2 decades before he finally won one. I said he'd never win one. He got lucky.
And away we go.
Well, you got to win one. When you're that caliber of player, the last thing you want is have a 15, 20-year career and you lead the league in everything, but you don't have a cup.
Well, fortunately,
a guy with a name like Gus Schwartz has his name on a cup, and you don't.
Fortunately, right now, my producer is harassing us.
Oh.
Our producer is harassing me. First and foremost, the one thing I want to do is I really, really want to commend Beth for the work that she's done this last several weeks with the show. On the show, Beth is really, she's the engine that could, man, when it comes to putting things together for me and for the show. So I'm going to go backwards a little bit here. Barry had asked, and I like this question for you, Kotz. I don't know if you could see it. Chris, what was the nastiest injury you got while playing? What was like the worst injury you ever got?
I tore the groin ligaments from my pelvis all the way up into my chest.
Jesus.
Back in 87, 88 season. And when I first got, I mean, trust me, I knew something was really wrong. You can't move, you can't do nothing. There's so much pain. And when I finally got diagnosed by the doctor, they said I had pulled groin. I'm like, no, I don't have a pulled groin. You guys are full of shit. I know a pulled groin. But make a long story short, 3 days later, I was black, blue, purple from the back of my knee to the front of my knee, all the way up to my chest, all the way in my back. And then they finally looked at me, I guess there's something more wrong. And, back then it was, a little more prehistoric, a little more like, the doctors, they were happier than a pig and shit to come to an NHL game. They really didn't want to piss management off because that's the way it was back then. But I tore my groin real bad. And, I mean, I can go on and on, tell you how bad it was. I mean, people have no idea what your stomach muscles and your groin muscles control in your life. What I'm doing right now with my hands, I could not do.
Wow.
I couldn't do that. I had to sit for like 3 months in a chair to sleep. I couldn't stretch backwards. And it took almost a full season for them to finally realize something was really wrong.
Oh,
so they went in and operated on me a year later, and they found a piece of my pelvis had ripped off with the ligament. The bone,
oh my God.
Yeah, with the groin ligament. And it was all fucked up. If it was today, if this happened today, knowing what we know now in the last 30 years, the way they treat athletes, I'd own the Maple Leafs right now.
Oh, wow.
I could have sued them big time, but it is what it is. That was the worst thing I ever had. Worst thing ever. It was, to this day, it still acts up once in a while. It's never been the same. It's like they reattached the ligament and all that bullshit when the operation, but it's like cutting a piece of liver, Paul. I know everybody loves to eat liver, right? Cut a piece of liver right in half and then try and sew it back together. Good luck.
Wow.
You can't do it. But that's the worst thing I've had, amongst other things. But that was the worst thing ever. It shortened my career. I only played, I think I played like 3 years after that, and I remember feeling when you started, get a little tired in the game, the leg would start to drag behind me a little bit, would lag a little. So that's it, Barry. It was a tough one. Trust me.
That's interesting. The red light's on. It's time.
Red light. Barry, you got a sunburn? I know you weren't here for the first one. That's like the 13th goal they put on you.
Oh, boy. I do want to say, listen, couple of things really important. I could probably run through these real quick. It looks like the Pens are up 3-0 on the Capitals. Canadians up 3-0 on the Canadians, on the Canucks. Canadians over the Canucks. And looks like the Panthers are leading the Hurricanes right now. But more importantly, if you don't have your Instigator shirt or your mug, then you're really not a fan of the show. If you go to the Instigators Hockey Show page on Facebook, it's there. Anything you want. They got pullovers, hoodies, playing cards. There's an exclusive in there, just so you know. This is a one of a kind, and nobody is. I'm not kidding. My buddy Jeremy, who did some artwork for me many years ago when we first started the show. Okay, so this was designed by Cody Kotsopoulos.
Yep.
Because Chris and I had a couple of different looks. We really liked this. It gave us a real traditional, simple Instigator look, and we stuck with it ever since. But my buddy Jeremy drew this mask inside of a bunch of little things. Says the Instigators. He actually drew a radio tower with the crest, a lot of different stuff. Beth, actually, I sent the graphics to Beth, and they're actually for sale. So that Instigators poster is that's going to be, that's one of my favorite pieces in the whole thing. So make sure you check that out. If you don't have a beer mug, dude, you need one. You got it. Look at this thing, bro. Come on. You got to have one. The one that you buy is even better than this one, because this one's coming apart on me. They got hats. They got it all. You need your stuff. With that being said, I don't know. I hope I did a good job, boss, because I'm getting yelled at. I better get stuff done here. So.
Beth's done a fantastic job. There's no question about it. Promoting the show, getting everything all in order, keeping us in check. She's done a great job.
Yes. And last but not least, if you haven't subscribed to our page, please do so. And if anyone you know is interested in advertising so the show can grow, you can contact Beth right there on the Instigators Hockey Show page or any of our individual pages. The email is the Instigators Hockey Show, all one word, at gmail.com. Can't make it any easier, okay? So those are all the
What was that again, Paulie? What was that again? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, wait. Here, I'll just do this.
You got to do block letters for guys like me. No, I'm just kidding.
See this? The Instigators Hockey Show. See that banner? At gmail.com. You can email us. We'll get you what you need. Make sure, I know it's getting cold, so get them hoodies, man. It's really good stuff.
Even Grandpa Munster wants one.
Who's behind you, Luna or my buddy?
Hey, come here, boss. This is Boss.
There he is.
There he is, right there.
He's a good boy.
Luna's upstairs warming up our bedroom.
Luna's right a bitch, but he's a good boy. He's a sweet, sweet boy.
Huh?
He's a good boy, boss. He'll still rip your face off.
Well, yeah, if he had to.
He'll only do it like if he really has to. But Luna wanted to eat me while I was there the entire time. Thank God for Lisa. She kept me alive. So those Cano Corsos are
we got tourists coming in next week. It's going to be fun. The Schmitz are coming.
Oh, wait. Whatever night they're coming, we got to do. One of the nights that they're with you.
Oh, they're only coming for a short stay. We're gonna go see a concert together, so they'll be here on Saturday the 19th.
Got to get those two lunatics on. It's like a wrestling team over there. But
you mean midgets?
Oh, jeez, that would be funny.
Yeah, Boss wants to be on the show, right, Boss? He just wants to be on the show. Look,
he's such a good boy. He's a good boy. He's a handsome boy.
You need to get yourself another pet too, Paulie.
Yeah, I one of these days, buddy. All right, couple more things we want to do.
Yeah,
I know. We're cruising right along here, so I'm very happy with this.
Well, I want to get into like what's going on with the league right now. Like, you look at the standings, everything's upside down compared to like who was supposed to be in first place, second place, third place in both divisions.
This is where we're going. So the standings are like what? Who thought the New Jersey Devils were going to be who they are?
Not me.
Who thought the Boston Bruins would be one of the top teams?
And the Fish Sticks.
The Fish Sticks.
They're third overall. They're third overall.
We're going to definitely talk about them later on in the show. But look at teams like Detroit, teams like we said, Boston, teams like Vegas were undefeated. I don't know exactly. I'm going to look up their record right now.
All I know is in the East, there's only the top 5 teams as of now are the Bruins, Devils, Islanders, Carolina, and Detroit are tied for 4th best. Like going into the season, only one of those teams should be there. That's Carolina, going off what they did last year. And in the West, it's just a complete topsy-turvy, upside-down, sideways division right now because Vegas kind of struggled the last year or two since their great opening when they first started, the franchise and all that stuff. Winnipeg, sucked last year too. Seattle, I watched their late game last night. They only had 20 shots on goal, but scored 5 goals, against Nashville. Dallas, LA, these are the top teams in the West right now. There's no Colorado mention. There's no St. Louis mention. You know what I mean? There's no Edmonton mention. There's none of that.
Right.
These are the top 5 teams right now.
Sure.
And, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm sure, for parity, I guess it's a great thing. But I'm sure people put money at the beginning of the season on certain teams to end up in first, second, third place. They're kind of shaking their head right now.
So, here's what I want.
You got the standings right there. I mean, think about that.
I don't know. I'm having a hard time with this piece of crap today. But I mean,
Boston's playing fantastic. Even when they lost the other night, I watched a little bit of their game against Toronto. Toronto won the game by a goal, but Boston's only lost like 2 or 3 games, Paulie. Period. 3 games.
Something's got to give. Boston right now is 11-2.
There you go.
Vegas is 12-2.
What about Jersey? What's Jersey?
Jersey's killing it too. They're 10-3.
Wow.
Detroit 7-3, 7-3.
Yeah, Detroit's a different team this year. You can see that happening at the end of last year a little bit, but they're a different team. They're a big, strong team again. They're not full with Europeans anymore.
You know, it's you you got me stuttering right now. There was a time, just so everyone knows, I'm going to reflect. There was a time many years ago when I might have had a soft spot for the Red Wings.
You had more than a soft spot.
Kotze would say I had a wet spot for the Red Wings. Right?
Damn right you did.
And Kotze never was a fan. He hated the Wings like he hates Ovechkin. I will tell you that right now.
Yup, and that's absolutely true, and that stands till today. I'm not changing my mind on that.
I know, but they actually are a big to strong team, like you said.
Oh, now that Sider, the defenseman they got, the right pointman. Oh boy! He's not only is he talented, but he plays tough too. Did you hear that, Condre Miller? Okay.
Oh boy, we're gonna get into it shortly. I hope everyone's ready. You better sit back, strap it on, and grab yourself a beverage of your choice, because it's gonna get. We're gonna get. I'm holding off right now. It's gonna get there. The Winnipeg Jets 8-3, Dallas 8-4. Said Vegas is 12-2. 12-2.
Yeah.
Not too much craziness out there in the West.
LA's is the fifth best team now. They've kind of bounced back a little too.
9-5 for the Fish Sticks. 10-3 for the New Jersey Devils. 8-3 for Carolina. And the dark horses here, Philadelphia Flyers. We'll talk about them.
With Uncle Vinny.
Uncle Vinny's got
Uncle
the Flyers
Vinny.
playing. He's got the Flyers believing they're actually a team at 7-3.
What was that word again? Actually.
But it's early. Okay, we're under the 15 game mark for most teams. Okay, it's early, so we're not even a third in, but we do need to talk. First thing, let's take a shot let's play a little bit before we get serious. Kotze, out of the teams that we spoke, who do you think the teams are going to actually stick, and what teams do you think are going to fall?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the Bruins are going to stick.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you there.
I think the Devils will fall a bit, but I think they'll make the playoffs. How's that?
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. And I think the Islanders are going to make the playoffs.
So you think the Islanders are going to stick? I would agree with that. I think the Islanders are going to stick. I think the Islanders had a bad year last year, underplayed last year, and I think, especially after last night's game, we'll talk about it, I think they've come into their own. Confidence and some other things, or
I just had to wave down the waitress.
Man, this guy, he's got it made over there. He's got it made.
You used to have it made.
Oh boy.
Well, what do you think about Carolina and the Devils? Thank you.
I don't think the Devils make the playoffs. I think Carolina makes the playoffs. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. The Islanders, I believe, make the playoffs. I don't know if Detroit's going to stick in there.
I agree. I think Detroit will slip a little bit.
And I don't think the Flyers are going to be in the playoffs either.
You're probably right on that, but they'll be competitive, which they are already.
Much more competitive than people were talking about.
Let's go out west now. Come on, let's hear your take on the West.
Beth said, "Boo, Asslanders." Let's see here. So Winnipeg. Let's see. Let's go. Well, okay. So Winnipeg.
I think Winnipeg sticks because I think what they, 2 seasons ago, not actually this season, last season, the season before, they were tough. They won a couple rounds, remember?
Yeah.
And end up losing to Montreal. I think they're going to stick. I think Winnipeg's going to make the playoffs this year.
All right. I don't think LA makes the playoffs. I don't think Seattle makes the playoffs. They're in.
I think you're probably right on those two. I think it's.
They're in the top 3 in the Pacific.
Yeah, I get it.
I think Vegas makes the playoffs this year.
Yeah, their team's really good. I mean, it's really good.
Edmonton and Calgary definitely make the playoffs.
Well, Calgary, it's funny how we talked about Calgary on our last show, how we think they're a better team, but they've lost 6 in a row.
Yeah, they're 500 right now. 5-2.
I don't know what happened in less than 2 weeks time. They went from penthouse to what house, a shit house.
Yeah, well, the penthouse to the shit doghouse.
Yeah, you got it.
I know, but they got good coaching, and I love. We didn't talk about it We didn't talk about it. The last show.
Sutter, what he said?
You sent it to me. Everyone sent it to me. I got it several times.
Who was it that went off the ice?
Was it Huberdeau?
I never remember. Yeah, it might have been. I think it
was Huberdeau. Went off the ice. And they asked why
that is so Sutter-like the way he is in his press conferences.
So if you don't know what happened, Sutter is the coach, and he's in the press conference, and I believe it was Jonathan Huberdeau came off the ice for a period of time, and they asked him, what happened? What happened to Huberdeau?
What he said?
He said, I think he had to go take a shit.
Exactly. Just the way he said it, he had to go take a shit.
Oh my God. I gotta tell you, that's what I love about hockey, man. I just love it because
he is so dry and so witty. It's not funny.
It was hilarious.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, he does it with an absolute straight face. He's a smart guy. Oh, yeah. He knows what he's saying. He knows how he's going to turn heads. I mean, it was just I don't know why we didn't talk about it last week. I think
that's true. We were good. I think we were gonna, but we got carried away with other crap.
Yeah, we missed it. But oh my God, I mean, that was beautiful. That's hockey comedy at its best.
But he's like that. If you notice, obviously I played against him for a long time, and I've always said he was a steady Eddie type player. Never really great at this, never really great at that, but good at a lot of things. And obviously he was a captain of the Chicago Blackhawks when I played against him.
Right.
So for him to become a head coach, and he won 2 Stanley Cups with LA. Remember that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then he goes back home, back on the Sutter farm, and they dig him out of the old scrap, bring him into Calgary. But when you watch his press conferences, that's what you're going to get out of him. You're not going to get any long, elongated answers or any, real, quizzical type shit from him. You're just going to get plain, simple answers. And when I saw that the first time, it's a good thing I wasn't drinking. I got to spew it all over the place. That's how funny.
If you could please find that clip.
That's what we got. That's the thing we got to do. I've been telling you for years now. We need to be able to put video in what we're talking about.
We will. I promise. Before.
All right.
By starting the new year, it'll happen. I promise you that. It might even be before. Beth, if you could find.
I love him as a coach. Period. He's.
So do I. If you can find that clip and put it on the Instigators page on Facebook, that would be amazing. If anybody can find it, please, Barry, if you find it, Mike, if you find it, just go ahead.
Paulie, can you imagine being the reporter that asked him that question? Some Cub beat reporters like, geez, I wonder what happened to Hoover. Mr. Sutter, what happened to Hoover? Why did he? I don't know. He had to take a shit.
And he does it so dry, so clean. Like an everyday answer, like he had to go take a shit. Next, Oh, so
he's kind of like the Bill Belichick with a little more humor.
yeah, it's
Doesn't
great.
give up too much
It
info.
actually brought tears to my eyes. I was laughing about it so much. It's just great. All right, so what did you say, West? Who's making it? Who's pretenders?
Well, you didn't go through the whole list where I only got the
Okay,
top
I
five.
said Vegas, yes. Seattle, no. LA,
Well,
no. Edmonton, yes. I say Calgary, yes.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I think Colorado will wake up too.
Oh yeah. What about Minnesota? I think Minnesota is going to be in there.
Yeah, they're like an above average team. Yeah, they'll make it.
So,
But one thing I want to say is what's happened to St. Louis?
what happened to the Blues? I was just going to say that. You read my mind. 3-5 wait. 3-8 and 0.
Yeah, they're worse than 3-5 and whatever. They're
3-8 and 0. So,
does Craig Berube, Big Chief, keep his job? I don't know. I mean, he won a Stanley Cup for that organization, the only one they've ever won. Yeah. I always liked the Chief. Don't get me wrong. He was a hard-nosed tough guy.
like
He was a hard-nosed tough guy to play against and all that stuff. Fought them all, and he had Philly for a while as a head coach. They fired him, and then he went to St. Louis and did a great job. Got him a Stanley Cup, and now you know what happens when your organization struggles to win. First guy to go is your coach.
Yeah. So I do have a question.
And what is that?
I have a question, and we're going to get right into it from here because I think it's a great lead-in question. So this is a friend of mine. His name is Nicholas. He's actually last I spoke to him, it's been a little while. I believe he has a podcast, and if he has one, if him or his dad want to text me the name of the podcast, I'd be happy to promote it. But he's also trying to get into broadcasting himself.
Oh.
So he's a fine young man, and he has a great question. He's very passionate about the game of hockey. He is a big New York Ranger fan, as his dad is. He said, can you ask Kotze this question? Does he feel that Gallant is responsible for the recent play of the New York Rangers? And if so, is now the time to move on and look for someone like Barry Trotz? Now, I don't think Barry Trotz is available. He's kind of attending to things at home. So, Kotz, what do you say to a Ranger fan who's asking questions about coaching? Do you think it's
it's a great question, but I'm gonna tell Nicholas that you can't do that. It's way too early in Gerard Gallant's tenure as a coach. I mean, they're going through a tough time right now. I mean, they went pretty far last year under his first year and all that. So, it's way too early. The team listen, like you said, it's leading into what we're going to discuss, but I don't think that's going to happen. But I will say this about Barry Trotz, though. He already came out about a couple of weeks ago and said he would be definitely interested in coaching an original 16.
I'd love to have him. I love him too.
Well, I just don't think it's going to happen. You can't sit there and give up on Gerard Gallant already. Come on.
No, I know.
Give me a break, guys. Like, come on.
I like Gallant a lot.
And this is nothing against you, Nicholas. That's a good question, but I think I answered it properly.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think it's way too early for that. Second of all, I like Gallant's decision making. And we're going to talk about that in a short.
Yeah.
I guess, Kotz, we got to get into this right now. It's really
we might as well. We're getting close to our first full hour. And so we'll finish it off with big Ranger stuff here. And you listen, you kick it off, and then we'll both just do what we do.
Well, here's the first thing I'm going to say. And I keep saying this, and I've been posting it. I don't know, Chris. Obviously, last year the New York Rangers were probably if everyone is going to be honest, if we're going to be Ranger fans that are honest, the Rangers last year seemed to be a little bit ahead of pace on what the estimate was or where they would be as a team. Okay, they played well. They got a lot of timely goaltending. They got some very great fortunes with Chris Kreider scoring 52 goals. Um, and I'm going to break it down a little bit. I might be a little bit long, and I'm sure Kotzi's going to go into this. But, if you think about what the Rangers did last year really well compared to what they're not doing right now is the Rangers had with Kreider and some other players, but specifically Kreider, they were scoring goals down low in an ugly fashion, the old-fashioned way. You get in front, you screen the goaltender, you chip pucks, you get rebounds. That's what Chris Kreider was doing a lot of last year to get him to that 52 mark, okay? Right now, I'm seeing a Ranger team that passes the fucking puck too much, okay? Everyone's looking for the pretty play every single time. That works great, and the power play looks good, I will say, but you still got to give the option and the ugliness of that ugly goal. You got to attend to Chris Kreider in front. You got to get there. You got to screen goaltenders. You got to get chip-in goals, and you got to score the ugly stuff. Trocheck had a beautiful goal last night on the power play on a rebound, okay? Unfortunately, gets knocked out of the glove. But my point is a lot of down low stuff is not really happening for the New York Rangers. They constantly are looking for the pretty play in every play. I'm going to stop there for now, let Chris kind of address that, and then I'll move on to my next subject.
Oh, I can't disagree with you. I mean, there's not enough traffic in front of the net on 5-on-5. That's obviously evident. I mean, their 5-on-5 scoring is, let's call it what it is. It's piss poor. I mean, their power play when it works looks great. I mean, with all the tic-tac-toe passing and stuff like that. But when it doesn't work, that's when it's easy to criticize all this stuff. Now you got to remember, Chris Kreider finally realized to go to the front of the net and he'll score, the goals that he got last year, and he's still doing the same thing, Paul. He's still in front of the net. The only difference is the pucks aren't getting there now because teams figured it out. They figured it out that they're trying to do that with Chris Kreider in front of the net. As you see, Fox will shoot the puck to the right of the net 2 feet wide so Chris Kreider can try and tip it in. I mean, it's not happening as often this year because teams are playing against that. They've done their scouting on it. So they have to come up with other ways. I don't know what the exact ways would be, but I do agree with you one thing. There is so many times where Zibanejad, Panarin, your guy Hedel, everybody, no matter who, has an opportunity to shoot, and they end up passing. And I'm looking at the TV and I'm going, what the F are you doing? Why aren't you shooting the puck? That's a scoring zone. And they're passing it off because they do want to get that one-timer that Zibanejad's so good at. Panarin continues to try to do those cross-ice passes. And listen, it's worked pretty good for Panarin so far. I mean, he's got, he's like 5th in the league in scoring or something. I don't know what he is, top 10, whatever. But it's not helping out the rest of the team.
Right.
And when you're struggling to score goals 5-on-5, and it's not working with the slick plays, there's only one other way to do it, and that's be mean, be tough, and get to the front of the net, cause a distraction, stir the shit up, get the shot on goal, and try and get that rebound. Be a menace in front of the net. That's it. And I've been saying this to you ever since I've known you. European hockey is great when it works. But it's also affected the North American players. Oh, I got to make that one more pass. I got to make that one more pass again. Yeah. Oh, no, I could shoot, but you know what? If I just get this through over there, it's a one-timer into an empty net. That's a crock of shit, okay? Because last I looked on a score sheet in hockey, they don't take photos of your goal. There's no photo of it on that score sheet. It puts a name down there. Paulie D, assisted by Chris Katsopoulos. That's all it says. Doesn't say that Paulie D took a one-timer. Doesn't say that I made a slick pass through the 18 legs and all that bullshit. Okay?
Right.
So, people can be enthralled and thrilled and excited about that slick skating, smooth skating, passing bullshit. But when you're struggling, you got to throw that out. You got to go back to the meat and potatoes part of it. And right now, the Rangers are struggling in that department. The only guy right now that I think has improved, and I'm getting into the Rangers stuff now. I can't say anybody's improved on this team right now except one guy. That's Kako. Kako. Oh, you hear my wife? She even said it.
Like a parrot in the background.
He's improved. He's improved as a player. He's starting to protect the puck and create his own stuff that we all thought he would do.
Agreed.
When he came out. It's not that some guys aren't trying. Okay, Lafreniere still works hard every game. Okay. Zibanejad still works his ass off. He's probably one of the hardest working players on the team. Okay, whether you agree with him or not, I don't know. But I think he still works hard. He kills penalties. He's always on the power play, and he's always like hustling. But I don't think a lot of guys have improved their game, Paulie. I really don't. I think they're status quo with who's moved up a step or two from the young guys. Keandre Miller has not impressed me. Okay. Trouba's not playing great right now. We know that. Okay. Adam Fox is Adam Fox. There's good and there's some bad. Okay. Schneider, I think, needs to pick up his game a little bit. I'm going with the D guys right now. Lindgren, God bless him. The guy tries hard. He can't stay on the ice. He's a big man in brain and in guts, but he's not a big man in body, and it comes back to haunt him.
Yeah.
Okay. Forward-wise, and I'm going to go through this here. Zibanejad still works hard. I don't care what anybody says. Panarin, he's still racking up the points. Kreider's struggling. Okay, his overall game is struggling. Like we're talking forecheck, back check hitting, all that stuff. It's struggling. Okay, yeah. Lafreniere is still working his ass off out there and still makes good passes and good plays throughout every game, but the production's not there. He needs a little bit more offensive production. I'm not going to get into your guy Hedl because you know where I stand with that. Kravtsov, I don't know. I'm just leaving it at that. I don't know. Okay, Gauthier still produces offense for that team, but right now I'm stopping myself right there. There's a lot. They're playing soft too, Paul. They're playing soft. Overall, they're not an overly physical team, and teams know that when they play against them. That's why the Islanders, when you watch that game last night, the Rangers had ample opportunity to take a 3-goal lead, 4-goal lead. They got screwed on a couple calls, didn't go in, this, that, blah, 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 close call here, close call there. But the Islanders just kept coming and coming, okay? And the Islanders are a big physical team. They play physical, Paulie. They hit guys. They finish their checks like old school. And that's what wore the Rangers down last night. And that's, if you follow all their losses, whether it's in overtime, whether it's in a shootout, whatever, what leads up to that is teams that are physical with the Rangers usually do well. That's a lot for you to.
Well, I tell you, so evaluating last night's game,
Rangers were great for 2 periods.
I got to tell you, last night, I really thought offensively, time of possession, I really thought the Rangers did some good things last night. I think they had the puck. They took a ton of shots. Here's where I was concerned with them last night.
But they didn't finish the game, Paul. I just want to interject there.
Yeah.
The Islanders sucked for 2 periods.
I was going to finish with this. I didn't feel like I definitely agree with you. I'm waiting to find that team that plays 60 minutes to close it out. They did this against Detroit. They were up 2-0. They wound up losing that game. They were up 3-1 going in the third. Where's that killer instinct to close this thing out? To like you said, play play a little more physical. I didn't feel like they got physically beat last night. So maybe you can explain that to me a little bit more when we go further.
Well, I'll stop you right there. Don't get me wrong, okay? You know who led the team in hits last night for the Rangers?
Vinny Trocheck.
How big is he?
Yeah.
That's all you need to know, Paulie.
Why scratch Reeves last night?
Because they didn't have Johnson in the lineup, and Matt Martin's not going to fight anymore. He's at that age where he don't want to do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's kind of like he's at that stage in his career, kind of like I was. Okay. Where my last 3 or 4 fights in the NHL were not against nobodies. They were all big daddies, like Bobby Proford, like
yeah.
Playfair. You know what I'm trying to say? He's at that stage now. He don't want to do it no more.
Yeah.
And if Martin was in the lineup, if Ross was in the lineup, I guarantee you Reeves would have been in, but he wasn't in.
Yeah. I thought Sammy Blais had a pretty good game last night. I would really like to see Blais, and I know we've talked about this. I know there's not really a spot for him, but I think after these last collapse and some struggles, I really, seeing Kreider start the game on the second line, not the first line, I agreed with that. I'd like to see Sammy Blais get a little more power play time, believe it or not. And people are like, what do you mean? He's not afraid to go in the ugly areas of the ice. He takes the body well. When that guy makes a hit, he's a punishing hitter. He's a heavy hitter. And I really feel like Sammy Blais can make a difference in some of those areas that the Rangers are struggling in.
You could be right with that, but I'm going to shoot you down right. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen because you got Kreider, you got Zibanejad, you got Trocheck, you got Panarin. What do these 4 guys have in common? They all make a big ton of money.
Sure.
So you're not going to sit these guys. They're not going to do that. Period.
No,
I'm just giving you the way it is and the facts of the way that things are run. Yeah. Second of all, you got Kakko, you got Lafreniere, and you got your guy Hedl, okay, behind them. So I feel what you're saying, but it's just not going to happen with Sammy Blais.
Yeah, I'd like to see him on the third line with Hedl. I know you're not a fan of Hedl, but obviously he scores a big goal last night.
Yeah, and he also took a penalty when it didn't count.
Well, I mean,
you want to go. You're going to do the positive. You're going to do the negative. You got to do both.
There's plenty of guys who took penalties, but yeah. On the offensive side of things, I think Hedl's on the uptick, if you want to be honest. But I just feel like there's an element in Blais' game that the Rangers need a little bit higher up in the line.
I agree with you. The guy can skate. The guy hits. He's not a bad puck handler, but for the time he's played since he's come back from that injury, he's having a tough time even getting an assist, Paulie.
Yeah, I know, and
I just don't think they're going to do that. I just don't think they're going to do that. Move him up. I think Blais is going to be that perennial third, fourth line guy, whether we like it or not.
I don't disagree with you, Beth. Beth says, can you see that, Cots, or no?
What's that? Yeah, I see that, yeah.
Oh, where's Carpenter? He's doing
I agree. I totally agree. I said that to you pre-show.
Yeah, pre-show you did. Him and Kravtsov, I think. I send Kravtsov down, and I don't know if he's on a 2-way contract to send him down without clearing.
I think he's on a deal that pays him the same money no matter what.
I just don't know. I don't know if he has to go through waivers. I'm not sure where his contract is with that.
They're in a touchy situation with the cap too, though, Paulie.
Yeah,
I mean, they have no money right now. As of now, they have only a few $100,000 or something, like less than $1 million. That sounds weird. Sounds weird, but
I would like to see Gauthier over Kravtsov for me all day long. All day long, I would have took Gauthier. I like Gauthier. He's a big, heavy kid. He goes to the net like we said. I mean, he hasn't put the scoring touch into it, but he can create. here's what I want to see. The team needs a line that is going to create garbage type of goals. You put Blay with Gauthier, I don't know, maybe Heedle on a line where you got a little bit of offense and you got some ugliness, you got some strength. They need garbage goals. They need guys that are bumping into the goalie. I haven't seen one guy fly into the fucking net yet. Okay. I haven't.
Gauthier did that the other night against.
I know. Gauthier goes to the net, trips,
took the net off, and everything.
Takes the goalie out. You need more of that. This team has the finesse. They need the option of the ugliness, and I'm not seeing it. I want to see goals in the paint. I want to see goals on the top of the crease. I want to see goals that, hey, maybe we should shoot the puck and drive to the net and pick up a fucking rebound. You're not seeing this. You're not.
I'll tell you what, Paulie. Like, what amazes me is sometimes the intellect of today's player. Obviously, I couldn't skate like these guys today and all that stuff, and stick handle like some of these guys. But I had a brain for the game. So if I'm playing a line with Gauthier right now,
just go to the net. You're gonna pick up a rebound.
As soon as he decides he's taking off from the blue line all the way down, I'm taking off and heading right to the corner of that net and waiting for him there.
And stop.
I'm waiting because I know the puck might not go in because I'm pretty sure it's not going to go in because of him, but it might be there. It might be there for me.
Yeah.
And if you follow his short career with the Rangers and how many times he's done that,
he goes.
I've never seen anybody near in the backup part.
Right.
So where's your brain? This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Like, you can fly all you want and do all the fucking sit-ups you want and run the quarter mile and all this bullshit that they do with health these days. Where's the intellect test? This guy gets to the net, but nobody follows him.
Right. So, Kotz, as a former player, a lot of people like to hear things like this, and this is why I like to ask these questions. So, you're the Rangers head coach. Describe how did these collapses happen? Okay, so the other night, Detroit, they're winning. They wound up losing in overtime. Last night, they're up 3-1 going into the third, and they're both home games. Okay, you're at home.
Yeah.
So you're the coach, you're the former player here. Talk about how does the mental collapse like this happen? Is it mental? I believe it's a mental collapse. And what do you do as a coach to start to try to fix this?
Well, right now, I think a lot of the stuff when they collapse it's their defensive zone play is not very sharp right now. Okay. Now, and I'm going to be positive about it. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. How many years has Fox been in the league?
4.
Okay. How many years has K'Andre Miller been in the league?
2.
This is his 3rd year, I think.
Okay.
Schneider?
This is
second. Lindgren, same thing as Fox.
Yeah.
Right? Trouba's the only true
veteran
back there.
Yeah, very true. Yep.
So I don't want to say that they don't have the experience, but it's possible that they have a lapse in where they're supposed to be, position wise, and they're not getting any help from their forwards either. Okay, so as a coach, you realize that you got a bunch of young guys back. They're young guys that experience wise overall on the defense.
All of them, yeah, except for
they really are still. Even if you play 10 years, they haven't reached the halfway mark yet, Paulie. If your career lasts 10 years, they haven't even reached 5 years yet. Any one of the guys I just mentioned. So it's about being smart. Instead of trying to make that really, really slick, smooth pass. Hey, when in doubt, dump it out. That's the way we played in our day. If I didn't have a clean pass to Ronnie Francis or Wendell Clark in my day, fuck that. I went off the boards and out. Off the boards and out. When it gets out, that means they can't score immediately. But if you try that stupid pass or you don't get yourself in the right position, that's when the trouble starts. Okay. As a coach, I think Gerard Gallant understands it. That's why I kind of liked, but I also know that this is part of the problem right now. I kind of like the fact that Schneider is playing with Hayjack and playing with Condrey. Like they're mixing it up now, so these guys are getting the experience. But it comes down to basic intellect. You know you're up 3-1. You don't need to score any more goals if you defend properly, Paulie. And they just didn't last night. They didn't do it against Detroit either. And as a coach, I want to say Gerard Gallant's pulling his hair out, but that's already happened. And they're not getting all the help they can because I don't want to. I'm not a big fan of stats and stuff like that. But here's a guy like Artemi Panarin who has done some great things so far this year and is up in the top 10 in scoring. He's also a -8, Paulie. Yeah. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at the plus minuses on the team, and I'll give your guy Hedl a little credit. He's +4.
Oh,
but that's only because he plays 5 minutes a game.
Well, and he's got as many goals. He's got as many goals as Chris Kreider. It's played half the games.
Well, we can get into that if you really want.
I mean,
stay away from Philip Brittle.
So we're going to take a real break here, a quick break in this. Barry asked, and he said he asked this last show, he didn't get an answer. How can it be that a coach who has coached in the AHL for over 25 years with the same organization not get a shot as a head coach in the NHL? And then he's asking if it's politics.
Of course it is.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree.
That's an easy answer, Barry. Come on, Barry. You should know that by now. How do coaches – I mean, let's go through the history of hockey. Go ahead, look it up one day, Barry. See how many coaches started with one team, got fired, got hired again, got fired, got hired again.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you do, but if you run your business like that, you'd be out of business. So it's the way it is. There's a hierarchy in all pro sports, okay? Period. Baseball, football, hockey, basketball, whatever sport you want to pick.
Right.
You get, your childhood friends. You're this guy you met in high school. This person you met, playing while you're in your career. You finally get to the top of the heap as a general manager or president of the team. Who are you going to hire? You're going to hire guys that you know. That's all there is to it. That's the way it works. You're not going to hire some guy that had 25 years in the AHL if you didn't know. You're going to hire the guys that you know. That's why these coaches get, retreaded everywhere all the time because the guy in charge of hiring them knows them. That's all there is to it. It's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if he's never been fired, Barry. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Whatever coach you're talking about, and I think I know who you're talking about, or pretty close, hasn't got anybody that's in a position of power in an organization to hire him. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
How does a guy? I mean, like okay, I'll use your guy like Tortorella. How does he keep getting hired? Somebody likes him.
Uncle Vinny,
your boy. But I'm giving an example. This is the way it works. I was talking with I know people might not know who he is, but his name's Henry Paul. He's a Southern rock lead singer for the Outlaws today. He lives in Nashville, and he knows a little bit about hockey. And we were talking about teams, the way teams are, and it doesn't matter whether you're in rock, whether you're in hockey, whether you're in a business, whatever. When your leader realizes what he has working for him and gives them a pat on the back and treats them properly, they'll go through the wall for you. And I brought up the thing about Nashville because he lives in Nashville. How Nashville, even he said it. Nashville is all about the money, he goes. They're not about winning Stanley Cups there. They fill that place up all the time. How's David Poyle still the general manager there after all these years?
Man, you got him started, Barry.
You haven't won shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he's there because you know what? The owners want to make money. So, Barry, it's a tough question, but it's the facts. I think that's the way it is. You want to get hired, you got to know somebody in that organization that appreciates you for what you are. And it is politics. Trust me, it's politics.
Definitely. I forgot his name.
Beth says it. Beth said it the best. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
Is it was it Ted Dolan? Was that his name? What was his name?
Who's that?
Former Islander coach. I thought it was Ted Dolan. Teddy Nolan.
Yeah.
He got blacklisted. Never came back to the NHL again.
Well, I think he was a great coach, but I think he also pissed off a lot of people too. So you got to be careful. I mean, it's one of those. I mean,
like anything else.
Look what's happened to Joel Quenneville now. I mean, where's Joel Quenneville? Is he ever going to get a job again? He was a good coach. Period.
Oh yeah, excellent.
But is he ever going to get a job again? Because he said and did what every fucking coach would have done back in my day. I don't care about that shit. I care about what's going on with my team. That's exactly what he did.
Right.
But he also screwed up when they asked him months later and years later by not admitting it. So I'm just giving you an example. You know, how do you continue to coach in the National Hockey League when you haven't really won anything? That's
a lot of recycled.
That's
coach.
one big thing.
So
you're on delay there, big boy.
I'm sorry. Back to the repeated collapses of the New York Rangers.
Yeah.
So come together with some better team defense. Concy, is that when you lose games like that? Let's take the Islander game last night. Is it mental? Is it a mental thing?
Well, a little bit of it is too. It is when you start to lose games like that, which they've lost at least 3 or 4 games this year they should have won.
Yeah.
So that starts to get into your head. Holy shit, here we are again. But a real professional will push that aside. And that only comes with experience, Paulie.
What did they do last night in the third period to cause the breakdown, Kotz?
I don't think they're ready to play in the third period. I think they thought the 3-1 lead was good, and we're just going to throw our sticks in helmet. They didn't look prepared for the third period at all, and that's not on the coach. That's on the players. You can give me all this shit you want about coaches got to prepare your team, got to prepare your team. Well, he prepared them good enough to give them a 3-1 lead. Okay?
Yeah.
You got to finish the game as a player. You got to use your own intellect to understand you're up 2 goals here. Okay?
Right.
You don't want to play. You don't want to back off, but you don't want to be over aggressive either.
Right.
Okay. When Pellick scored, I think it was Pellick that scored that goal, wasn't it? That made it 3-2, 14 seconds in.
Yeah. That was
just bad overall play by everybody in the zone. All 5 guys, including the goaltender. Everybody screwed up on that one. And that's the other thing. I want to talk about now. What's happened so far this year didn't happen a lot last year. Because Shesterkin, as good as he is, and he's a great goaltender, he's not bailing them out this time, Paulie. You know what I mean? Like he was bailing them out quite a bit last year when this shit happened. Boy. Now it's not happening. The magic might not be there 100% this year, and that's just normal. It's like you say about Crowder. He scored 52. He might not score 30 this year. Yeah. Is that one season or whatever? As the wife walks by with a hoodie on.
You know what's funny? Anybody ever want to go back into the archives of the Instigators Hockey Show on Blog Talk Radio? I think there was plenty of times I had said if he didn't stand on his head, Hank carried this team for so long with so many different through so many different years.
Well,
Uh,
sure he did. He absolutely did. You
you
know
know,
that, and I know that.
and now we're at the same place where Shesterkin was just at points last year. The guy was just amazing. Bailed him out, won games. Uh, uh, the Rangers were able to score, unlike when they played when the Rangers had Henrik Lundqvist in net. They didn't have the scoring prowess that they have now. The Rangers are able to score. They're a scoring hockey club. Let's not get it wrong. And they have probably one of the most deadliest power plays in the game. But you can't live on that.
No.
It's not enough. Last night, I really thought, especially through two periods, I thought the Rangers played well. Like I said, I thought that
Well, they did.
they
I'm
had
not going to argue with that. I got no argument with that.
They took shots. I think they could have executed better. Only because what pisses me off is that, like I said, the look off, 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 the look off. Take the effing shot, go to the net. Let's get rebounds. Let's get dirty. Let's get ugly. Let's play some hockey here. Um, as a coach, I hope that we start to recognize that this team needs to do more getting to the net, making opportunities at that area. The pretty passes and the look-offs, they're great, but it can't be every play. It's every play.
I agree. Listen, we've gone through this already tonight. The league has gotten more submissive when it comes to scoring goals. Okay, I go back to a player that I played with in Hartford. I know I'm bringing up the olden days, like the golden days, but Blaine Stoughton, he never passed up. He never passed the puck when he had a chance to score.
Sure,
he scored 50 goals in both leagues. There's only two players that ever scored 50 goals in both leagues. Blaine Stoughton's one of them. The other's Bobby Hull.
Yeah.
He never passed up an opportunity to score. But you think he's going to pass the puck to you when he's got a chance to score? No. But this is the way the league's gone. Thank you, Detroit Red Wings. I'm just telling you, this is the way it's gone.
What do you got left for the Ranger fans?
Well, I'm listen. I'm not in the sky's falling mode or let's panic about it and all that shit. I mean, they're still above 500. I just think they just got to get back to the nuts and bolts of it all, and play smart hockey and help out their goaltender a little bit, play a little bit better defensively. The talent's there on paper, Paulie. Unfortunately, it's just not living up to it on the ice right now. And this happens to every team. We talk about you were talking about Shesterkin bailing him out, and I was talking about him bailing out. You don't think Vasilevsky bailed out the Tampa Bay Lightning during their winning years? I mean, you got to be a fool to think he didn't.
Sure.
It wasn't all Steve Stamkos being great every night. It wasn't all Kucherov being great every night. First night they shit the bed. It wasn't for Vasilevsky. So luck is part of it too.
Sure.
Sports and luck go together. Yeah, it's not always the right thing, but luck helps too. So Right now the Rangers aren't lucky, but a lot of it can be solved by looking at it themselves and going out there and doing what you're supposed to do, what your job is, what your obligation to the team is. Right. Whatever that is, whatever they've got you labeled as, just go out and do it. That's all. Yeah. I'm not worried yet. I'm not worried about them.
So Kotze says, Ranger fans, don't worry about it.
No. I'm not worried yet. I mean, when you worry, when you get down to the last 20 games of the season, you look, holy shit, they're 8 points out of a playoff spot. That's when you start worrying.
Yeah. I honestly, if I'm going to give everyone an evaluation on my side, I think the Rangers outplayed themselves last year. I think you're seeing more of what we expected last year, this year. Um, I got to tell you that I love the addition of Vinny Trocheck. The guy's winning face-offs.
He's been good. He's been good. He's been a
Yeah,
good guy.
he's done. He's done his job. I think for what they got him for.
Oh yeah.
The guy's not afraid to take the body. He's winning. Like I said, he's winning face-offs. It's one of the reasons why they went out and got him. He's an old North American style hockey player. So I think, I think that's a great addition there. I think this team is going to go. I think Kotze said this last week. I think we both agree that this team goes on the play of Zibanejad. But I think a side note on that is going to be the garbage goals. Is Kreider going to be able to get 30, 40 goals with the deflections, standing in front, making things happen? That option looks like it has been taken away from the Rangers. Now, I don't know how you get that back other than guys crashing the net, taking opportunities, shooting more, and trying to pounce on rebounds. Other than that, guys, I got to be honest with you. I don't see a real hole with Shesterkin. I think that he hasn't been superhuman, but he definitely is not the Achilles heel of the team. I think he's done his job. I can't look at a goal last night and say, Betty wanted that one back. I really can't think of that last night. They scored a couple power play goals. I think they scored what, 2? Possibly, was it 2 or 3?
Both teams scored 2 power play goals.
So, you can't fault the goaltender with power play goals, things like that. The one in the third period, he never saw the puck. It was a C&I puck, and he never had that opportunity. So, other than just getting a little dirtier and where Kreider is going to play a huge part, I think is really how the team's going to go. I can't disagree with Kotze. I still think Zibanejad is doing the work. Maybe, not getting the 5-on-5 result that we'd like to see.
He's not getting the 5-on-5, but he still leads the team in goals. So
sure.
Where are the other guys 5-on-5?
I'll tell you who had a good game last night. I thought, besides Trocheck, I thought Trocheck played pretty well. I thought Jimmy Vesey was involved last night, especially playing. I think he played on the third line.
Yeah.
He had some opportunities. Actually, did he punch in a goal last night?
He had that breakaway, remember?
Oh, he had the breakaway where he missed it. Yeah,
he almost scored.
I mean, that's a
keyword, almost.
Yeah. But
Jimmy Vesey and Blay and all these, they're not the problem.
No.
They're not the problem. They're going to fill their roles the way they are.
Right.
Okay? Problem is your top guys have to perform on a consistent basis. And it's not just the 4 guys up front. It's the top 3 or 4 on the D2. Okay? And your goaltender. So really it's your top 8 guys. They're the ones that have to perform, Paulie. And the rest of the guys fall in line. That's all there is to it.
Yep. I'm going to post this once again because I believe in it. Oh, wrong one. Sorry.
Oh, yeah, Barry. That was Barry's question. We answered that already.
Barry said something about he's coming to see you soon.
Well, Skytop's a little bit of a ride. You know where I am, Barry. I'm in Stroudsburg way, so you're going to have to come into Stroudsburg.
Garbage goals, Ranger fans. I really think that I think Gerard Gallant and the team is going to work on that, I believe, because I think that's where they're really missing it. But mentally, you got to close out games. You got to play a 60-minute game. You got to be prepared in the third period, even when you're up by 2 goals and the team that you're playing has a reputation of coming back in the third. You better be on your game. You better be sharp.
Listen, I also have one more thing on the Rangers before we shut her down for this show. If things continue like this, I believe Chris Drury will make some moves.
Oh, absolutely.
I think he will. He's not afraid to make the moves, and I think he's got plenty ammunition to move.
Yeah, oh, me too. Mike, I'm right with you. Kreider, as big as he is, it isn't in his DNA to play a mean physical game.
Well, they got a couple guys like that right now. Keandre Miller's another one.
I knew that was coming.
Okay, well, let's call it what it is. Let's not just pick on one guy when it comes to the physical play.
Yeah.
I mean, let's make sure that everybody gets a little criticism here.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't disagree with Keandre Miller, and we'll probably close with that. About another 10 minutes here, but I will tell you that, and we have said this for a long period of time, Mike, I don't disagree with you. I think that for some reason, Chris Kreider just neglects to take on that true power forward role. He's such a big, strong guy, and I haven't seen him in several years now.
No, I disagree. He did last year, Paulie.
Play ugly.
You don't just get 52 goals by not being physical. He stood in front of the net. He took on all the defensemen and everything else. He was tough behind the net with all the people. This year he's backed off of it a little bit.
I want to.
He's not as hard on the boards as he was last year. Let's put it.
I just want to see him. I want to see him play.
I want to see him hit somebody again.
Physical game, absolutely.
With a hard hit, not a soft hit.
Yeah, Mikey Mason. I mean, I'm right there with you. I mean, if Kreider's not playing physical, I don't know. He's not going to score the amount of goals that.
Well, I know I'm repeating myself, Paulie, but we can go back to what I think it was maybe his third year, fourth year, second year, whatever, where he hit that guy from Washington. He got a 5-minute major. Remember that?
Yeah. He
hit a Washington defenseman at the goal line on the right side of the post. The guy didn't come down until he hit the boards and just slid down the boards like he was dead. Ever since then, Kreider's never had a body check like that since then. Because I think he fears that if I do that again, I'm going to get that 5-minute major. I'm going to get thrown out of the game. You can't play like that. When the opportunity's there, drill that fucking guy through the boards.
Yeah.
Period.
This
is what kills me about the NHL. Everybody gets hit now; they get a fight immediately. Why not? Why not drill somebody? Then turn around and go, okay, here I am.
Well, I don't know. I just feel like
I agree with you. He's got to use his physicality a little bit more. I mean, if he wants, the reason why I think he should and you are two different things. You're not scoring right now. Help the team by being physical. That's all.
Right. I guess the last thing, if you want to end with, I think we have different views on the player, but I definitely.
We always do, which is good. That's why we call it the Instigators.
I definitely agree that I believe Keandre Miller needs to be more physical.
Please.
We're talking about
if there's anybody out there right now that doesn't think he needs to be more physical, period.
Absolutely.
You should stop watching hockey. Stop watching.
You're so funny. I would say that I have seen improvement in his play.
Not me.
I definitely agree that the element that he has to install is he's going to have to take the body stronger, with more attitude. Otherwise,
Ollie, he was fantastic in preseason. Okay,
yeah, he can't live on.
And he has, and I'm going to just tell you flat out that didn't carry over to the regular season. Period.
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily agree. I think he's playing well. I just think he can be better in some areas.
You need to like dust off your TV and maybe get your eyes checked. You're getting up there in age, Paulie. You're getting up there in age. You may exactly. How many times have I look what he just said?
I know that's why.
How many times have I said that to you?
He needs to be like Chris Pronger. Yeah.
That ain't going to happen unless he learns to use that stick and drill somebody with it, and elbow somebody in the face, smack somebody in the face, take a guy out on the board hard. hit like you want to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And until that happens, it's not going to be Chris Pronger. Not going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree. I said I agree. I believe he can play more physical, but like you had said, I hate to keep tripping on this, but they're in a different era of hockey where, I mean, even Chris Kreider's just not as physical as he could.
Yeah, but why are players on other teams willing to take you out hard on the board? Is it the New York Rangers that are the only ones that don't do that?
Is that?
I mean, I don't know. I'm asking you.
I don't know. I'm asking you. Is it being?
Why would I skate my ass off to chase a guy into my corner and when I get a chance to drill him, not drill him? Explain that to me.
I wish I could.
Please explain it to me.
I wish I could, my man.
Why does Lindgren try to kill everybody that he's got on his 5'11", 185-pound body? And why does a 6'4" guy, 218 pounds, not?
Yeah.
It's not, Paulie, it's not like, listen, I agree with you. Skating, he's fantastic. Stick handling, not quite as fantastic as I thought, but pretty good. His passing hasn't been really great the last few games either. He's made some pretty bad passes, but overall, his skill level is an 8 and above. But his physical intimidation part is like a 2. There's no intimidating part about him. Period.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all.
And if you're not putting up the points like Fox is, and he's not, he better start hitting somebody.
Well, Barry, lights off, man.
Oh, Barry, you can put your suntan lotion on now.
Lights off, lights out. Paulie D is done. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to say. I would say the next 5 games are going to be a very interesting part of the New York Rangers. I think they'll be close to the 20-game mark. I think they need 6 games, right?
Yeah. What are they at? 14, 15 right now? What is it? They're 6-5-3. 6-5-3, right?
Yeah. Holy moly.
Yeah. Listen, like I said, I'm not worried about it. I hope these guys like learn their lessons, especially the young guys. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, if things continue to go south, there will be some changes. Trust me.
Well, I'm telling you, in the next 6 games, if the Rangers continue to collapse in the third period and not really take these home points too. And that's what's scaring me. These are home games,
But then again, the team that went into Dallas, who was one of the top teams in the West, remember the Rangers went into Dallas on the road and beat them pretty convincingly?
Yep, I do. It's going to be interesting.
The talent's there, Paulie. It's a matter of them putting together. I'm going to leave it at that. That's it. That's it on the Rangers. The talent is there. They just got to get together as a team and look at each other in the face and, boys, we got to wake the hell up. That's all there is to it.
Yep.
So what else you got? Are we done?
I like reading the comments. Wow. Didn't even refill your mug during the show. I did, Barry. The thing is the smart thing that I did was
magic. Tell them it's magic.
I brought the cooler up here in the office, so I didn't have to leave, and I had filled it twice. By the way, buddy. See, here's one of the empty bottles.
These are two of the few empty bottles.
But I'm gonna get a fridge for up here. Katsi and I were talking about them. We'll put it right there. I'm gonna put all them Instigator hockey stickers on them once I get them.
You better have a fridge by the time I get there.
Oh, I know. Other than that, listen, hour and 45 minutes. A lot of good questions. Really appreciate the input. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you for
Check out the
orders
shirts,
today.
check out the mugs, check out the everything.
So we got some merch that was purchased today, which we appreciate. Hopefully you love it. Wear it well.
One more thing.
Uh-huh.
Cody is revamping my website soon.
Oh.
It'll be different, and then we're gonna make sure we link everything from our show to my website as well.
Yes,
there's gonna be new photos that we haven't had before on there that are gonna be available, to the people if they want to purchase them. That I will sign personally to them and all that stuff.
So listen, I might need you to sign some merchandise. I'm probably going to pick up some merchandise from the store.
Okay.
I'll ship it out to you. Sign it, and we're going to have to do some giveaways and things like that, and some special stuff for some special people who really just get involved and do whatever they can. We'll do some raffles. I promise you. That we are going to incorporate some video. It's going to be really cool.
And guests.
Kotzi and I are going to start breaking down some hockey videos. So the show's just going to progress here a little bit more. So make sure if you haven't bought any merchandise, go ahead and do that, because the merchandise sales is going to go into the stream, which is going to build the show more for the things that everyone likes. But
yes, Barry, I do. I need those colorized ones.
Oh, look at that! You saw that, huh?
Oh, I see. I got it up. I've watched everything that everybody's been writing.
Oh, all right.
I'm just not like you. I don't look at it all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'm
ready.
I sometimes what's that? I feel like I'm fucking doing 100 things at once.
What are you in a circus?
Yeah, exactly. Trying to juggle everything. Thank God for Beth. She helps me with everything. She's a
hey, Matthew. Long time no hear.
I didn't see that. What happened? Great show.
Remember he was with us. We was on at Vincent's. He was with us at Vincent's with Mike.
Oh, all right, great. Let's do this. Guys, if anyone has questions, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. If you have questions, you can email them to me. You can shoot them to Beth, either in the Instigators Hockey Show page or any of our Facebook messengers. Mike, I want to thank you for Mike. Really is very helpful, and he's working on getting some sponsorship for the program, which we need. Again, the proceeds are all gonna really build the show up, so we can really give you the best product. But
and I'm gonna get in touch with Biz Shitty there and says Paulie D will take him on.
Oh yeah, here we go. I don't know, man. I just I might have to bring in the old Louisville Slugger. Take him out Brooklyn style. But
you mean one of these? You mean one of these?
A behavior stick. Let me just tell you, that man right there is a sick fuck, just so you know. Okay? He's tapped out. We're both a little crazy. But that's an inside joke.
and the next signing by the New York Rangers is right here.
Who is this guy?
That's Pile Driver.
Let me tell you, this man has more comic stuff than you can imagine.
This is the next defenseman, the Wrecker. That's his name. And this is the guy they really need. Look at that. Bulldozer.
This is what I got. I got sports stuff.
Is that the Gretzky?
That's Gretzky and who's on this? And Hull. Gretzky and Hull. Still in the box.
Hey, listen. You know what? I was fortunate to play against both of them.
One of my favorites right here. That's number 99. Hey, Biz Shitty, look at the jersey. Look at the jersey before you run your fucking fat, stupid mouth, you piece of shit. I'd like to see you try to slap me in the face, you cocksucker. Try it. Break your fucking nose. Anyway, some of the greatest players in the world right there played for the New York Rangers before you open your stupid mouth. You're stupid. You played for the fucking Arizona Phoenix Coyotes. That's who you played for. For 15 fucking minutes and a cup of coffee. So
weren't they called the Road Runners at one time? No, I'm just kidding. Road Runners.
I'm sorry? What'd you say?
I think they were the Phoenix Road Runners in the
in
the good old days of the WHA.
So shut your mouth, you stupid bitch. Anyway, I really hope Ryan Reeves rips his fucking head off. But I challenge you to try to slap me in the face, tough guy. Let's see how that goes for you. Anyway,
I gotta put you in. I gotta train you.
Moving on.
Why do I have to train you? You're from New York.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
That's it. We're done.
Kotze needs an old trainer, Smitty, as his gift. All right, listen. We'll catch you next time. Just if subscribe, you gotta subscribe, and the page, the real advertisement page. We are gonna also open an Instagram page. Beth is working on that right now.
Not me. Listen, no offense, I'm not getting on that
for the
shit.
For the show, we know, Kotz. We know. We're gonna make an Instagram page for the show. If you're not on Facebook and you're on Instagram, whatever, we might even open up a Twitter now that somebody really good owns it. But we'll a little bit at a time here, okay? Make sure you subscribe. We'll see you soon. Thanks for all the questions. Keep them coming. Let's go, Rangers. Peace out. We'll see you next time. I gotta go.
We done?